On Yarn Spotlight today, yarn expert Clara Parks is here to tell us what happens when you cross a yak with bamboo.
You get yakaboo. No, what we have here is a blend of 75% yak down and 25% bamboo. Now, yak is not something that people normally associate with yarn, but a lot of these animals that have to live in very, very cold climates, they naturally grow a very fine, soft, warm, insulating undercoat. Cashmere does this. The Arctic muskox does this. American bison, they also grow.
This is different from the kind of the shaggy coat that you think of them having.
Exactly, that's the outer coat. That's kind of the protective outer coat. Underneath that are these very short, fine, crimpy fibers, extremely insulating. And when you take them and blend them with bamboo, you get this perfect combination of an ethereal, light, warm halo, and then a foundation of shiny, wonderfully drapey material. The yak provides kind of an insulating filler to the entire thing. Imagine it sort of like the powdered sugar in the yarn. It's an insulating filler. It gives a little bit of a bloom when you wash it, sort of a little glossy halo over it.
Well, and I know that, you know, just sometimes straight bamboo is pretty heavy and limp, but this doesn't feel that way at all.
Exactly, because what's happened is the yak has crimp to it. So it's opening up and separating all the fibers so that the bamboo, which has no crimp, it's a very, very smooth fiber.
And how do they make yarn out of bamboo?
Well, they take a bamboo tree and they start scraping it down. No, bamboo, this is completely not scientific, but basically what they do is they harvest bamboo. This is viscose bamboo, the most common type of bamboo that you're going to see in yarns. And they put it through, imagine like a giant wood chipper. And they take those chips and they have to ferment them for a long period of time in kind of a caustic soda solution. What they're trying to do is get the naturally occurring cellulose in bamboo. This is how they get tencel from other types of plant materials. So they ferment it down to this goo, but a very pleasant goo. And then at that point, they can extrude it through teeny tiny holes. If you imagine like a shower head, but with minuscule holes, and they extrude it through those teeny tiny holes into a bath. It's a very dilute bath of sulfuric acid, and that hardens the liquid into these teeny fine strands of fiber. And
so it is a fiber with zero crimp to it. It's completely straight.
Exactly. There's no crimp whatsoever. The length of it is whatever we want it to be, because we take these endless streams of fiber and we chop them into certain lengths.
I see. So, I mean, I think that's kind of where the sheen is coming from in this yarn.
Absolutely. What's lovely about bamboo, it's kind of considered an affordable alternative to silk, which can be very expensive. Bamboo has a glorious sheen to it. It's actually a quite warm fiber, and it's got some absorptive qualities to it. So when you blend it with something that has more crimp, which has more warmth, which has a little bit more elasticity to it, you get a pretty nice material.
So it's a really nice combination of things. And I love in this swatch, there's like a really subtle kind of color variation there. Is that the yak or is that the bamboo?
Well, that would actually be the dye process itself, I would believe.
Oh, of course.
I believe these are all hand dyed, but the bamboo is what is reflecting the colors back so brilliantly. Any kind of a bamboo blend, when you dye it, you're going to get just glorious, glorious color options.
Well, and I love this swatch that you've done in this yarn. It's got that beautiful drape to it.
This is such a rounded yarn. If you untwisted it, you would find 4 fine little strands of fiber that have been twisted together. So I say it's a 4-ply yarn. That's what I'm talking about. The more plies you have in a yarn, the rounder it is, and the more suitable when you're working with things like lace, the more suitable it is for lace that has larger areas of stockinette, because it allows you to do them in beautiful open kind of brush strokes. There's less lumpy bumpy and more smooth brush strokes, and then the yarn over areas still really hold the fabric open, and they also give a chance to show off the teeny amount of yak halo that you get.
Oh, I see. In those negative space kind of areas, you see that beautiful halo. Well, so here are just a couple more examples of protein fiber and bamboo blends. This is a silk and bamboo, and this is a wool and bamboo together. And would you, I mean, how do you think about that when you're picking projects? What kind of fiber mixes to go for?
I always try to think about the end results. So for example, the silk and bamboo blend, I would know that neither silk nor bamboo has any real elasticity to it. The real appeal there is sheen and drape, glorious drape, and also color. It's going to reflect the color back beautifully. That other yarn over there, I can see right from here the way that it is spun. It's spun with multiple plies that have been plied on top of each other and on top of each other and on top of each other to give more bounce and elasticity to the final yarn. So I would use a yarn like that, with that construction, for something that has more ribbing and more stretchy kind of alternatives to it.
Well, fabulous.